everybody. My name is Susanna and I'm a harpist and harp teacher. I live in Edinburgh, Scotland. If you could let me know whether you can hear me, whether you can see me, you can either write a comment or there is like a little button which allows you to send hearts and likes and stuff like that. So just let me know if you are there and if everything is working fine. It's always a technology, it's not really playing the harp, but it's the technology, which is something that most often goes wrong. I'm just going to go and see if any of you are commenting. So I have to go back to the computer. I will have it on my phone as well. And if you think you might be running a bit late, we won't be starting to play right now. You still have time to get a cup of tea, go to the loo, get a cup of coffee. I've got my own cup of tea somewhere here. Yeah, the tea is not really to drink because I would probably either talking or playing, but it's mostly to warm up my fingers because I must tell you I'm quite excited and therefore my hands are quite cold. So we'll see if they warm up in time to play. I can see some people are joining in. If you can, do let me know if everything is all fine on your side and if you can hear me talking. Waiting for your comments. And in the meantime, maybe I thought I'll tell you, before we start playing, I'll tell you a bit more about the idea and where did that whole thing came from. So, as you may know, I've just published an ebook, a digital guide for prospective harpists, people who would like to play the harp but never had an occasion. And if you want to have a look at it, the picture and the link are at the top of the page. In that ebook, there is a part where I share examples of harp music, and I really wanted to include many different examples of music that can be played for people within their first few years of playing. And the trouble was, when I was looking through YouTube, that there are not that many videos of those pieces played at a high standard. I don't know if you agree with me, but from my experience, when you Google harp and YouTube, on YouTube, what comes up are mostly professional pieces, virtuoso pieces played by professional harpists, really good recordings. There might be few recordings of students playing their pieces, but sometimes it's work in progress, so it's hard to say how the piece actually should sound when it's when all the work is complete. And I thought that maybe there is a need to have a bit more recordings so students could see what is available to play on the harp, what is possible, and also what is their goal, what should they strive to achieve. I can see two people watching, but I'm not quite sure still if you can hear me or not. So if you could give me a sign or a comment or something, just so if there is any problem, we can just start it all again and I'll say all those things again. I'll just check again if I can see any of your comments. Maybe it's that I can't see them on my laptop, but maybe I should be able to see them on my phone. Not much on the phone either. Oh yeah, now I can see something. I can see more people joining. Let me know, please, if you can hear me, if you can see me. I can see you joining in, but I just hope the sound is on. Everything is perfect. Thank you very much, Magda. Thank you for being my assistant today. Okay, so as I said, I wanted to make more of those pieces known to people who might be starting to play the harp. And I thought instead of making proper recordings, putting them on YouTube, which is also a great thing when you make a good effort to make a really perfect recording, I thought that it would be really nice to do this in a way which also allows you to ask questions and have those questions answered with the harp on. You can of course comment on videos, but sometimes giving the answer is a bit fiddly if you don't have a harpist and the harp next to you. And I really like Facebook Live, even though it's quite a stressful thing to do. I really like interacting with the audience and having questions. It's also very helpful for me as a teacher to know what people struggle with, what they need more, and so on. Just looking at my notes, just to remember what I was going to say. So, thank you for all the comments. Thank you for coming and for watching me. And hello to everyone who will be watching that later. So let's move on to the piece for today. That was a big surprise. Every week we'll have one piece. I will play the piece and I will share with you some tips to practice. And the work for today is a composition by a French harpist, Andrès, who was born in Belfort. I think some of the people watching might recognize the name. Andrès was born in 1941. He's still alive, and apart from being a composer, he's also a harpist, and he's written many pieces for the harp for all levels, starting from beginners to professional harpists. And I'm pretty sure that his pieces will be featured here more than once because they are really nice and sweet, and they all have they all deal with different sort of problems and technical aspects of playing the harp. And the piece that I'm playing today comes from a set of pieces called a piece. So in English that translates to spices. And there are 2 notebooks. Each contains 4 spices. And the one that I'm going to play to you today is called Cannelle, which is cinnamon in English. So that will be hopefully a very nice and sweet piece. I will say a bit more about this after I'm done, but just a little note before I start playing. Today I'm playing on a lever harp, a Kamak Corrigan lever harp, which has 34 strings. And I think that's kind of a minimum that you need for this piece, because the range of the piece is from the lowest E, which is 3rd string from the bottom. Yeah, you can see that it's that string that you need. And at the top, the highest that you need is E flat there. So the piece is possible to play both on lever harp and the pedal harp. There are no lever changes, no pedal changes, so it's easy in that aspect. The only limitation is that you probably need at least the harp of this range. I just have to look at the comments. Yay, good to see you. Hello, Nana. Hello, Ellie. Hello, Razan. Okay, everyone's got a cup of tea, I hope. So I'm here to play. That was it, just under 2 minutes. And one more thing I forgot to say about this piece is how advanced it is, on which level it is, in case you can't tell that. I think if you have a good understanding of rhythm, which we'll talk about later, and read the notes quite well, you should be able to play that piece after maybe 3, maybe 2 years of playing the harp. I think I played that piece for the first time when I played the harp for 3 years or so. I don't know how many harpists in UK knows those pieces. In Poland, they were really, really popular. Someone started playing them at some masterclass, and then everyone wanted to play them. And it was sort of something I was working really, really hard to play, and I really love them to this day. I'll just have a quick look at your comments again. The opening chords sound so much like the start of The Shape of My Heart. Oh, okay, I never thought about it like that. I won't be able to now stop thinking about it, I think. Oh, okay, so how about I'll tell you now some of the tips for practicing that and how to approach a piece like that. I'll flip to the next page to see what's happening. So one thing you might have noticed about this piece, which is slightly more unusual, are two effects which are sort of considered modern effects on the harp. So we had tapping on the soundboard. And later in the piece, I don't know how many of you noticed, I was playing quite low on the soundboard. Can't quite see on the screen, but very close to the soundboard. The name for that is from French, again, près de la table, playing close to the soundboard. And that gives us a bit of a different sound. Playing in the middle of the string gives us this. And at near to the soundboard is, oops, sorry for that. So more guitar-like, a bit more, I don't know how to call it, a bit more, I always think of it as a bit flatter sound as opposed to rounder, but I think it actually cuts through a bit more. So even though it was quiet, you could see it, hear it quite well. When you start practicing this piece, I would recommend you don't try to achieve all those effects straight away. Try playing just as you would in the middle of the strings to get to know the notes, to get to know the rhythm. Moving on to the topic of the rhythms here, you probably noticed they were a bit uncanny, a bit unexpected at times. And I recommend you do a lot of work of working on the rhythm. Just to explain for those of you who don't read the music yet, we have a term like syncopated rhythms, which is all sort of rhythms which are not played on the strong beats. So regular rhythm with strong beats would be something like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 for crotchets, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And syncopated rhythms would be something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So you avoid some of the strong beats. And what I recommend when practicing this piece is to divide it in sections according what rhythm you can see on the page. And we'll start from looking a bit closer at one section, which is, I think, the longest in this piece. And in that section, left hand has one of those syncopated rhythms, which goes. You've heard that at the beginning and at the end of the piece. And maybe I could try to show you how that rhythm looks on the page. For those of you who read the music, I checked that it shouldn't be in the mirror view. You should be able to see it all fine. So here at the top of the page, we've got regular rhythms, and for that piece, we are counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 2 sets of 4 in that piece. And then when we come to quavers, that will translate to having 1 quaver per each beat. And then the rhythm in our first bar is actually this. Sorry, I need to know which way to go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I recommend is actually writing down all those numbers in your music. And what you can do, something that I will do now, is also circling the numbers where the beats are actually happening. So you can see that a bit more clearly. So I would circle 1, 2, not 3 because there's nothing happening on 3, but 4, and then again 1 and 3. So when I'm thinking about the rhythm, I'm thinking 1, 2, 4, 1, 3. Yeah? And I will demonstrate in a second how that works with playing. So another method you can use before you start playing is to just tap a rhythm, because instead of dealing with the fingers and which strings, which notes, you can just simply start with playing the rhythm on the harp. So counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? It's really good to count out loud, not rely on any odd numbers going in your head, because when you hear your voice and when you hear the tap, you can really make sure that they are together. It's so easy to think that we're doing something, but only when we verify that with the reality, we can know for sure what we're doing. So I would try doing a few times just tapping the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, even I can get it wrong when I'm talking and explaining at the same time. The next thing, I would try to find fingering that works for you for the left hand. What I do, I go 4, 1, and then 3, 1. So 2 notes together, and then second finger leading again to 4, 1. Because I think it goes well with the rhythm and makes me bring out even more the unexpectedness of the beats. So once you've got your left hand sorted, it will be all the same all the way through. You can look at the right hand. The right hand has definitely fewer notes, and the right hand in this piece is only playing on some of the notes of the left hand. So you can actually write down some lines. I'm trying to show you my music, but I don't know if you will see a lot. So you can see that there are some lines leading to the left hand notes. So when I see that left hand plays 2 notes on its own, and then right hand will tap, do this effect together with the left hand on the 3 last notes, and then I can find out the rhythm of the right hand by knowing really well what's happening in the left hand. Okay, and that was that first section. And then another section which is a bit more challenging, which I recommend to do in the second place, would be the section in the middle, which is actually a bit faster. It's the section which goes like that. That's what it is. And in that section, you may notice that you already have not really 2 hands playing, but you have more like 3 voices, because you have left hand playing the chords and so on. You have right hand playing the melody, and you have right hand also tapping in between playing the melody. So I recommend to practice all of that separately. And I would start with the right hand tapping, because again, you're not struggling with reading the music or anything, you're just learning the rhythm. And the rhythm of right hand tapping is exactly the same as the rhythm of the melody. Right hand taps, and then the melody is. And this is actually exactly the same. So once you know the tapping, you will know how to play the right hand, and you will only need to find the notes and find the fingering. I do 1, 2, 2, 1, and 3, 1. And then as last, you can practice left hand. Again, try counting out loud. And you may think that the next step would be putting all that together, but actually I think that the next step should be trying to put together just the rhythm. So I would tap the left hand goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap the right hand, let me just quickly check if I'm telling you the right rhythm. The right hand goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now try to tap those 2 rhythms together. So we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you know better what's happening when you have the fingers, the strings, and everything else. Let me know if you have any questions about what I said up until now. Maybe I'm whizzing through it really quickly, and maybe some things are more obvious to me than they would be for a student. But if you want, you can always rewatch that live. It will stay on the page, and it will be saved, so you can just rewatch it as a normal video post at any point in time. Let me just see quickly if you've got any questions. Okay, Eleanor, could you repeat the name of the composer, please? So it's Bernard Andrès. The last name is spelled Andres. You can find lots of his music in the UK through Harp Studio. Who else is selling them? Creighton Collection. But if you Google the name, I'm sure lots of pieces will come up. Oh, okay, thank you. Eva helped to find Eleanor the name. Cannelle. I don't think we have any more questions, but if there's anything else coming up, just let me know, and I will be doing another round of answering good questions towards the end. And I think that actually we've covered most of it. Of course, there are more sections in that piece that have some more unusual rhythms. There's another one which goes here from the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which also has accents on the beats that are not usually what you would expect to play. We've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And those accents will need to be brought forward quite a lot because that's what gives the piece its character. So these are things that you can then add later when you're sure of the notes, when you're sure of what your fingers are doing, and most importantly, when the rhythm is correct. Just quick check on the chat. I thought I'd just tell you one anecdote about Bernard Andrès and me teaching. I remember. I wonder if that student is watching. If you're watching, you know who you are. I've suggested to him a piece by Bernard Andrès, and I said that's a famous French composer for the harp. And at the time, I was dating a French boyfriend, and I think some of my students have met him or something. And then my student asked me, "Is that your boyfriend, Bernard Andrès?" And for those of you who don't know, as I mentioned earlier, Bernard Andrès was born in 1941, and that's a picture of Bernard Andrès. I mean, all fine. That I was 20 something at that time. So just a quick anecdote. And yeah, any questions at all that I can answer while I'm still online? I think I can't see anything unless there is something else. You can always post a comment even when the live is over. You can still leave a comment when rewatching the video. So if there's anything else that you would like to know, just tell me and I will try to reply as soon as I can. That this series of live will have 9 more lives. They will all hopefully take place on Friday, 11 a.m. So watch out the space and please come next week. There will be another piece with some more tips for practicing. And if you've got any suggestions, if there's anything that you would like to hear or anything that you struggle in particular when playing the harp, just tell me and I'll be happy to help. Thank you again for coming, everyone, and see you next week. Bye. And live video.